I've been a fan of Adam Sandler since as far back as I can remember. I remember back when he was on Saturday Night Live and I was watching him week after week. We would go to school and we would all do Opera Man memes, or we would make those jokes about Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore as the years went on. And I've always appreciated him as a comedic talent. The guy is exceptionally funny when he tries. Although it does feel that in recent years, things have gotten maybe a little bit more on the lazier side. Adam Sandler is well known for liking to make movies that send him to exotic locations so he can effectively have a studio pay for an extended vacation. This is known. And apparently, it has zero impact on how many people actually watch his movies, because according to Netflix, they've signed a deal to do 4 more Adam Sandler films. That's right, folks, 4 more. And they've already done 5, with another one on the way this fall that does not actually have anything to do with this deal. This is a whole new deal. Think about that. Netflix has loved working with Adam Sandler, so much so that they want to do at least another 6 hours of content with him. And that's just insane. So let's see what they say here. All right. It says that expect more Adam Sandler in your Netflix feed. The streaming giant announced on Friday that Sandler and his Happy Madison production company have reached a new deal with Netflix to make 4 more films. He's had 5 films with the studio, along with the stand-up special Adam Sandler 100% Fresh. And if you have not seen the Chris Farley song, if you've not heard that, you don't understand the kind of talent that Sandler has. And I don't just mean that like in general. I mean that specifically, because watching that tribute to Chris Farley made me remember why I loved Chris Farley and how much Farley meant to not only Sandler, but the general crew of SNL from back in the early to mid 90s. All those guys, Tim Meadows, David Spade, Chris Rock. I mean, like, they all knew Chris Farley. They were all good friends with him. Kevin Nealon. I mean, Phil Hartman knew him. Unfortunately, Phil Hartman that's a whole other thing, but I think the death of Farley impacted David Spade and Adam Sandler the worst. And it's such a compelling song because it reminds you just how larger than life Chris Farley was and how much he meant to his friends. And it was said in such a way. I got teary-eyed watching it. My girlfriend got teary-eyed watching it because it was just so... It was emotional is the way I want to say it. So Sandler's got a lot of talent. He does. He's got an exceptional amount of talent. But anyway, it goes on to say here that Netflix leader Ted Sarandos said the company is excited to extend its partnership with Sandler because audiences love his stories and humor. The company said his 2019 comedy Murder Mystery, starring him and Jennifer Aniston, was one of the more popular films on Netflix in the past year and alone became one of the most popular in 8 other countries. He is a worldwide brand. People around the world they do love Adam Sandler. You and your particular group of friends may hate Adam Sandler. There's going to probably be a ton of comments in this video about how Adam Sandler sucks. But the thing is, your comment doesn't matter. So many people out there like the guy. I've even talked to people that said Murder Mystery was one of the funniest films they saw in 2019. I haven't watched it yet, but it's on my list of things to watch because I don't feel I watched enough comedies lately. I don't think I've watched enough comedies in a long time. Sandler's latest film, Uncut Gems, which was released in theaters last year to critical acclaim, will premiere on Netflix in May. I think it opens on Netflix here very soon internationally, but domestically it should be in May. And then later this year, he'll star in Hubie Halloween with Kevin James, Julie Bowen, and Maya Rudolph. Again, Kevin James is longtime contributor. Julie Bowen, coming off of Happy Gilmore. She was the love interest in Happy Gilmore all those years ago. 24 years ago is when Happy Gilmore came out. And of course, Maya Rudolph is absolutely just one of the greatest. But taking a look here at his Rotten Tomatoes page, we can see kind of a broad range of how he's received by critics. We can see here that his highest rated is the Meyerowitz Stories. His lowest rated was The Ridiculous Six. And that's, again, showing you absolutely the range of, I guess you could say, his talent. So coming down here, we can see kind of going back to 2015, right? We've got Pixels with the 16%, which is basically just a rip off of Ghostbusters. I thought it was better than 2016 Ghostbusters, to be honest with you. But later on, earlier, he did a movie called The Ridiculous Six. This was his first film with Netflix, and this is the one that was completely hampered down by a lot of people on the woke left that were trying to attack the movie because they felt like it was very, very, very racially insensitive based upon stories you had heard coming out of the production, and that I thought was going to potentially really impact Sandler on a negative level, and it actually didn't. Then he went on from there to go do The Do-Over, which was, I think, a movie with David Spade, where he played, I think, like a hitman or something. Then he did Sandy Wexler. You can start seeing a little bit better here, right? 10% for The Do-Over, 27% for Sandy Wexler. His next one was The Week Of, with 27% as well. But then he also did Murder Mystery with a 44%. So there are people out there that absolutely do like these movies, and they are getting progressively better. I mean, we do see that that Uncut Gems is at 92%, but of course, he just was in that movie. The Sadfi brothers directed that one, and I hear they directed it like excellently. It's something that I still want to see. I just have not had the time to go see it. Although from what I've heard from people, it's best to watch it in kind of an enclosed setting because of the intensity of the film. So that being said, look, Sandler clearly has a fan base. He clearly has been profitable for Netflix. And this isn't the first time they said it. They originally signed him to do 3 films, and then they signed him to do 3 more films, and now they're doing 4 more movies. They recognize that Sandler brings a lot to the table creatively in regards to content that is easily digestible. And it does appear that he is at least attempting to take a more creative approach to it. We're noticing the critical reviews going up a bit, right? We're seeing them start to tick up. And perhaps after being snubbed for Best Actor from Uncut Gems, so much so that Jennifer Aniston, when winning an Emmy or a Golden Globe, I think it was a Golden Globe, for The Morning Show, she called him out. She gave him a shout out at the event, saying like he should have won for best, or he got snubbed for Uncut Gems. And that's only going to bring more people to checking out Adam Sandler and to seeing some of his other more dramatic roles. Like, for example, Reign Over Me was fantastic. Spanglish was fantastic. I do want to see the Meyerowitz stories, which I heard a lot about. I still need to see Uncut Gems, as I've already said. But you take this comedic actor and you put him in a dramatic role, and he can deliver. And the reason why he delivers is comedians generally tend to understand tragedy and drama better than most people. They take it, they channel it, and they twist it into be something that anyone can laugh at. That's one of the great things about comedians, about great comedians. And if you really look at Adam Sandler, he is ultimately one of the greats. Now, you may not compare him to Carlin or Kinison or Pryor or, or like even Louis C.K. in some aspects, or perhaps Eddie Izzard, who's just totally different in his approach, right? Or Chappelle, or I don't want to say Kevin Hart, but like Bill Burr or something, but they all kind of operate in this same world. There's a reason why comedy actors, comedians will make great dramatic actors, because they are able to remove the humor, but to still find the humanity. And I think that works out well for Sandler. When he goes into those roles, I love him. Punch Drunk Love is a great film, but I saw that the same day I watched 8 Crazy Nights, and I liked both of them, So it really just depends on your flavor of Sandler, but he's proven over the span of about 30 years that he is an absolute namesake. He is a legend, and people out there like to crap on him because it's Adam Sandler and they find it to be easier, obviously. But I think at the end of the day, it's not. It's an interesting take to see that Netflix has still supported him, and they're going to keep supporting him as long as he keeps bringing people in. And if he does mix up some of his dumb comedies with something as good as Uncut Gems, or as well received as Uncut Gems, and he goes for more of those awards, Netflix still very much wants to win awards. So watch them ask that one of those movies that he makes, or they have him do another drama in order to be able to go for that. And to have him work on his dramatic roles would only then improve his comedy. So it appears that Sandler is giving more of a crap as he's entering in. I don't want to say to the twilight of his career. He's still very much at the top of his game. I'd argue he's more now at the top of his game than he was back in the 90s. I mean, really, if you think about it, he's got carte blanche to do what he wants on Netflix. They keep signing him for more movies. He goes off and does an indie drama that gets critical acclaim across the board, makes a pretty decent amount of cash, and people are saying he's got snubbed for Best Actor, which then turns everyone's attention to his previous works, and they're going to dive back into his comedy, and they're going to look at the subtle nuances of Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore and The Waterboy and Bulletproof from the 90s and go, yeah, there's a subtle genius to Bobby Boucher from The Waterboy. There's a subtle genius to a person who has a very bad Louisiana accent and saying H2O. They're going to look at that and they're going to find the subtleties and the nuances in his old work, and that could bring about a second renaissance of old school Adam Sandler. And I would kind of like to see him go back to those character pieces because I did find them to be ridiculously funny back in the day. Anyway, I just want to talk about Adam Sandler. I once said on my other channel, this is in I think it was the summer of 2015, I defended Adam Sandler. I said I'm an Adam Sandler fan. I lost 300 subscribers in a day. I'm not kidding you, right? I got roasted by a lot of people because I said I like Adam Sandler. And I'm not, the thing is though, outside of YouTube, outside of this bubble, a lot of people really like Adam Sandler. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. I am, as always, curious to know your guys' thoughts, your guys' opinions. Let me know down in the comments below. I will talk to you guys all later. Have yourself a fantastic day. Be sure to type in Sandler in the comment if you made it this far. Subscribe, like, all that jazz. And have a good one, guys, and peace out.